Hello and welcome back to our third and final part of our amazing series. Oh my gosh, I only be the woman he wants before 2024. The title of this video, which was the only thing I had on my screen at the second, is called If You Want to Be a Wife, Change This One Thing.
One thing.
And oh my gosh. So this resonates hard with me because I had to change this one thing myself. Stacey, you have some examples of what this one thing is. So
Yes.
what is the one thing, this mysterious one thing you have to change in order to get a ring on it?
You gotta change it. It's true. It's what's holding us back. It has to look this way, it has to be this way, right? Do we get to have everything we want? Yes. Do we deserve it? Absolutely. But then you gotta release it. You gotta surrender when, where, how, why, and let go of, like, it's gotta be now, really. And you can speak on this because you have a lot of experience in this. You had a tight grip, right, on a couple of things. And it's so much easier for me when I was working with you to, say this, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And, it's so easy for me to say, oh, let go of this, let go of that. But when you're in it, like, how did you do it?
Yeah. So, for the audience, Jerry and I went through a really rough time. We even broke up for a little while. And when I came back to the relationship, I had all these demands. I had all these demands. I had all these conditions that you would think, like, I know you guys are all thinking, well, you need to keep your standards. Like, obviously, one of them was he's got to put a ring on it in 3 months or I'm out.
How about this? I refuse to, what is the buying the cow and the milk for free? Like, I swear I hear that all the time, but it's like, first of all, who's the cow, right? And yeah, there's just a lot of holding on to funky stories.
Yeah. And it's also because, like, I come from a whole history of being in relationships where I was just waiting. I was in waiting energy, waiting for the guy to do something that he wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
And in this case, he promised, like, we both wanted to get married.
Mhm.
And he just didn't want me to, I'm getting ahead of the story, but
Yep.
he didn't want me to control him, which secret, no man and nobody, but especially a man doesn't want to be. I kind of sometimes like to be controlled, to be honest. A little
Yep.
kinky. I like it.
Yep.
Especially by my trusted man, like not by other
Yes.
people, of course, but a man does not like to be controlled, and he will put on the brakes 1,000%. So
So
when I
fast.
came back, I was like, you better put a ring on it. I had 3 conditions. I need a new house. There were other things. I don't remember exactly what. We'll
Yeah.
stick to the ring story. And he's like, okay, maybe. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, whatever. And so for a year, he didn't propose to me 3 months later or less. For a year, I was like, well, that's what my condition was. I needed this. You knew I needed this. And he's
Mhm.
like, well, you're not very attractive to want to put a ring on it if you're badgering me all the time. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, trust me. I promised that we would get engaged, and I'm not going to do it with this energy like coming at me. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Like, and actually, the truth of the matter is, I didn't want to have to convince him to put a ring on it at a
Yeah.
certain.
No.
I don't want that control. I want him to want to do it. So what did I do?
You
I let
surrendered.
go.
You did. I remember it's like just energetically everything was okay. Like, trust the process, let it go. And you still had the exact same vision. You didn't have to take less than or change up your standards, right? You just simply released it. I think about, like, releasing the fish. It's like, quit holding on to the fish and put it back in the water. Let it go.
Right.
Let it
Let
go.
it breathe, right?
Yeah,
Let
let it
the
breathe.
vision breathe.
Yeah.
And so I remember even like one of the sessions we had with you, Jerry was like she hasn't mentioned it in like a year. Like he was flabbergasted. Like he
Yeah.
kept waiting for the shoe to drop for me to like badger him. And I had let it go. I was like, over it,
Yep.
forget it. And so then we got engaged.
Yes.
It
Such a
wasn't,
cute engagement.
but it wasn't as soon as I let it go because
Mhm.
I had to show him that it was genuine. He didn't believe me. He didn't
Yeah.
trust it. And it was the best engagement moment because I knew it wasn't because he felt pressured. And no matter what you think, whoever's listening, right, hearing this, like just hear me. No matter what you think, as a woman, you want your man to come to you on his own free will.
Yes. It
No matter,
doesn't count if you have to force him. It really doesn't.
oh,
And there's
I've
no
been there and
satisfaction.
done that. I've been
Yeah.
there and done that with men, and it
Yep.
always backfires.
Yep.
So, so that's the secret. So now you get to go into it more.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all fine and dandy, and you've expressed it wasn't easy. Like just let go, just surrender.
Yeah.
But how? How do you just let something that you're so passionate about, that you want so badly go? It's grounding in the truth. And whatever we have a death grip on and we're literally unwilling to let go of has our power. Like it literally is blocking us from our wildest dreams. And it can be so simple as just an outdated, expired belief that we have, or a goal that we think has to be linear and look a certain way. So if we can just, even just a crack, let it go, just a crack, then that's when the energy, free it, right? That's when the energy can come in, and you're drawing in exactly what your hopes, wishes, and dreams are. So that's the conundrum of life. That's the big, the big one thing is acceptance, surrender. They're like best friends. You just accepted, like, I accept that my partner loves me. Accepting love is a whole thing. Accept that my partner loves me for who I am, and he hears me, he knows what I want, and then let it go. And it's, I mean, once you get practicing at surrendering, it's easier too. And I think about this one, I was in a training once, and there's a good example of surrender is I can't stand while I'm sitting. Like I'm surrendered. Look, I'm sitting. I can't stand. And it's that feeling of this is where I'm at and it's okay. I'm fine. I'm safe. And then I can't sit while I'm standing, like it's that simple where you just make the choice from a powerful place to let it go. And it really comes back to knowing like you had this time frame. I want to touch on this briefly because it goes with surrender. When
Yeah.
we think that we put a time stamp on something, it's not that we don't ever get to, evaluate things, but when we really put that rigid time stamp, it's it's basically it's basically saying that what's important and of value can be measured in time and it's outside of us. And it's not, it's internally. Like when you got right with you and just how you felt about your relationship, about you, about your goals, because there was some outside influence with, you know, looking at friends and other people. Well, they had it in this amount of time, they did this, and being in comparison robs our joy. And so you let go of that notion too, like this is my life, this is what it looks like today, and then you got everything you wanted.
It's totally true. And you're saying when I got right with me, and I remember the moment. I remember the moment getting right with me. It was the same type of feeling, although opposite, that I had when I broke up with my last partner. I was like, I just got right. And it was just
Yeah.
this knowing, and I didn't have to yell, I didn't have to have drama. I was just like, it's over. And I
Yep.
packed stuff and I moved out. And this one was, I got right with me. It was this like landing, like, I'm okay. Everything's
Yes.
amazing. And I just relaxed into being okay and focused on joy and focused on being just in this moment because the anticipation I realized
Yes.
of the engagement is almost juicier.
It is.
than the actual thing.
Yes.
And the anticipation, right, of anything. It's like, I don't know, just like if you're thinking about this chocolate cake
Yeah.
with melted ice cream on top, and you're fantasizing about it the whole day.
Yes.
And then finally at dinner, you get to enjoy this. It's like so much juicier,
So
right?
much better. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I just, and thankfully from all the training and all the practice I've done and all the femininity work I've done, I realized like being in the feminine is truly in that anticipatory, delicious energy of just like enjoying where you're at and also trusting yourself,
Mhm.
not just be like willy-nilly, like, I wasn't gonna wait 10 years for him to propose. I knew
Right.
that, but
Yeah.
that doesn't have to be a bitch about it every day until he did, right?
Right. I like where you're going with that because we want our men to show up powerfully and like put in the effort to, show up and give us the ring and all the things. But then when we grasp onto it, we start being the opposite of what they wanted in us, like, and then they start questioning, they're like, I don't know. I think this like red flag, red flag. I mean, just as much like red flags as we feel with guys, I mean, they feel it too.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, earlier you were saying accepting, and I call it receiving.
Mhm.
You're talking about accepting, obviously accepting a situation or accepting life or whatever.
Yep.
And accepting also means
Yes.
receiving. And so, pardon me, one of the biggest qualities of a feminine woman that a man is attracted to is receiving.
Yes.
And receiving, like in the most basic form, and I always give this example, so bear with me. A man penetrates, like during sex, a
Mhm.
man penetrates you and you receive him,
Mhm.
right? If you're not receiving him, it's called rape.
Yep.
So, energetically, that is the epitome of masculine and feminine dynamic. So,
Yep.
live that open to
Nature's law.
having, yeah.
Mhm.
So, so the next question, because you always say this to me when I'm like in a thing,
Yeah.
you're like, where's the evidence? So obviously we're not talking about your semi boyfriend who won't commit to you,
Yeah.
who's like,
You're accepting less than you deserve and you know it
no,
deep down. Yeah, no.
exactly. We're talking about the man that you are about to meet or you're with now that you're pushing.
Mhm.
Um,
You're
and
putting
so
your rules, your 3-month rules on or whatever.
exactly.
Mhm.
So talk to me for the audience about looking for the evidence, like
Right.
what's true and the evidence so that you can relax, because that really helped me to relax. Because I was like, Jerry's never going to propose. He's going to be one of those. La, 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 la. And then you're like, okay, I hear
Yeah.
you. What's the evidence? So walk us through that.
Right. So, really quick, just to backtrack for 2 seconds, is the acceptance and the receiving. I just wanted to point out that being in the receptive mode and acceptance doesn't mean give up. Just, I accept, fine.
Right.
I'm the
Right.
loser, right? Like, that just came to me. Like, I
Yes.
wanted to make sure that everyone knew that you don't have to be a wet blanket about it. Like,
Right.
right. So when it comes to finding evidence, that's about looking at the feedback, looking outside of you, and like with Jerry, he's a great example of the evidence is when you said maybe Jerry's never going to do it. He's not respecting me. I'm putting words in your mouth, but then I said, let's just stop for a minute. Is that true? Let's look at the evidence. And when you took 2 seconds, you're like, actually, um, you know, it's not. I'm just wanting to be right about this because I feel afraid or like, I'm just not getting what I want in the moment. And continuing to look at the evidence with you, I mentioned you're not the same Barbara from 10 years ago that you are today. So why are you treating yourself that way? Look at the evidence of how much growth you had, right? So then you looked at all the evidence of who you be today, and it was huge.
Yeah. So for those watching, look at the evidence of how far you've come.
Yeah.
to who you are now and trust yourself. You're watching this for a reason, right? You're seeing this because you're ready for your next cut, your next level. And the evidence is there that you get to have everything you want, because if Stacy and I, little old us, like literally, little old us got everything we've ever wanted,
It's
and
true.
we're still going to, we're leveling up. Like now I'm asking for more.
Yes.
And that's okay. You're always going to want more until you die. And
Yep.
that's okay. It's allowed, right?
Mhm.
And I know I'm going to get it all. I just know, because I've never not gotten what I wanted my whole entire life. I just was doing it unconsciously, and now I'm doing consciously, and it's happening in quicker succession.
That's more evidence, right? I've never not gotten what I wanted either. That's evidence, but I only receive it when I let go. And so that's basically it, is just letting go and being open to receiving. I was going to say that there's polarities. I talk a lot about polarities, like nature's law and things, is the amount that you or me or anybody gives, you get to receive in the same amount. And oftentimes it's lopsided, where, a woman is giving, 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 and then like, where's my ring? Where's my respect? But it's, you shut the door to receiving. So the amount that you give, be open to receiving it, and let go of how it's supposed to look. Because chances are, for me, when I let go of how I really want it to look, it looks 10 times better. So
Yes,
much better.
totally 100%. Oh my gosh, Stacey, I'm so sad it's already over.
I
Well, it's
know.
not really over, because you get to do a masterclass, but our interview
Yes.
series, this is our third part. If you haven't watched 1 or 2, go back and watch them right here on my channel. And what do we have in store for tomorrow? What kind of amazing thing are we offering?
Big,
Flashy.
big, amazing. I'm like at a loss for words, because frankly, this is a huge value and I'm giving it away totally free. My goal is, I really want anybody, any woman, even men too, that want to stop the cycle of the of grasping at something, all of the things that we've been discussing in part 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3, right? I want them to be able to have the tools that I've laid out, 1 hour free, that you can
We're
utilize.
talking about the masterclass for
Yes,
tomorrow.
the master class for tomorrow, that you want to, so come to the master class. You only have a few more months before 2024, but what I can guarantee you is, if you show up with a beginner's mind, so even though you've done, so you're tired, you've done it, but there's a reason, like you said, that you found us, and come join us. You're in like-minded, safe place where you can. I'll be hot seating. You'll get a lot of value, and you'll get to be in the community of women who want what you want as well. All
And the
your
masterclass
wildest dreams. And the
is
master class is Wednesday, so tomorrow, right? Tomorrow on the 11th at 3 PST, 3 p.m.
okay.
and 6 EST. So
Great.
totally can make it. And I am going to, I really want everybody to show up live, because I love interacting and hot seating. However, if you
You're
get in a
going to get
bind,
way more. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for
yeah,
a second. Showing up live, you're going to get way more out of it, because what happens is you let the live pass. You're like, oh, I'll just watch the replay. Your
mhm.
energy is already kind of like not taking it seriously.
Chances are that's a pattern too.
Yeah. So take yourself seriously, show up live. Like if you absolutely can't, then watch the replay
Mhm.
as soon as you can. Don't wait till the last minute, probably a pattern. Commit to yourself, commit to us right now, write it in the chat, in the comments below this video. I
Yep.
commit to watching live. I commit to watching at 6 p.m. tonight, whatever, or that is the when it's live, but you know what I mean? Like commit to
When
us.
you declare it, I love this, because you and I know that when we actually declare it and say and go shut our back doors, which is super important in relationships too, then you get to receive. You get it. But you
Yeah.
have to show up for yourself.
Yeah, and this is not for us. We're like, why would we be doing this for us? This is for you. We are here to serve you and to have you break out of your patterns. That's the whole point of this masterclass and this 3-part series. So let us coach you into that, because this is what you're meant to hear. So the link to the masterclass is below this video. You need to sign up because it's an exclusive event just for people who watch this video. Or this series, and it's not going to be posted publicly anywhere, so you have to get a ticket to come in, but the tickets are free. So sign up below and show up tomorrow at 3 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I always have time zone issues.
I know.
Anything last minute? Any last minute closing remarks?
All I know is that there's so much value packed, and be ready for a breakthrough. Come for your breakthrough and you'll get it.
You will. Stacy deals in breakthroughs. That should be
I do.
Okay, bye everyone.
I see you tomorrow.